And just like every other time, we are back. My name's Charbel Milan. Today we got,
Parker Smith.
and this is a time shared. So, Parker, just to get you up to speed real quick, this is a time shared, the one and only podcast that's really out here trying to bring light to people like you. People who are out here innovating and really paving the way, primarily at a young age, but really doesn't matter. But it's just all about, diving into your story, like I told you earlier, in hopes of making someone else's story.
Mhm.
So before we get going, if you just want to give the people an intro on who you are, what you do, just anything they should know about you before we get going.
Do you want the long story or you want the short story of who I am?
We want the long story. Yeah, if you just want to pull this closer to you.
Of course.
Perfect. Yeah, we want the long story. That's what we're here for.
Well, I can talk and just tell me when to shut up. Well, my name is Parker Smith with Parker Smith Real Estate, Realty One Group Edge out of Atlanta. But obviously I'm a real estate agent, but I've only been doing this for going on 4 years. I'm 26. With that being said, never actually when people say, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" I wasn't like, "Hey, I want to go sell homes." I actually really had no answer for that when everybody asked. I was just like, "Well, whatever happens, happens. We'll figure it out." So my kind of, story to real estate and the introduction to that, it has a big lead up to that. Went to high school, graduated in Duluth, 2013. Again, I'm on the young end, but I actually never went to college. I never took the PSAT or the SAT. I didn't even like go and tour schools. I did nothing that a sophomore or junior would do to prep for college. Luckily, I had my parents behind me on that. My dad was like, more. I joke. He's like, "Sweet, I don't have to spend money." But they were all for it. They're just like, "Hey, as long as you're not being an idiot and you'll find your success, whatever that is. We don't believe college will be that for you, and we're not going to make you go." Which is cool because I didn't have hope or any of that. And they were like, "Well, if you don't have hope, you're not going." So either way, school we all knew wasn't for me. And that was a good blessing. That was actually one of my first big. The second, there's only two best decisions I've ever made in my life. First one was not going to college. It's not for everybody. It wasn't for me. We can talk on that later if anybody has any questions. So didn't go to college. Went to Jacksonville, Florida, right out of high school for my first job. Was there for a year and a half. Got fired actually from that job, but that job was a really good job for me because I learned a lot about myself as I am as a person, how I react and work in team environments and lead or not lead. And with that being said, left Florida, tail kind of tucked, but hey, you live and you learn. I was 18 at that point. So moved to Jacksonville, knew nobody, started a job at 18, got fired at 19, came up here. My father had a promo print and apparel company. He was kind of like the middleman between the manufacturer and the buyer. So, or if you will, the supplier. So I was like, "Hey, that's cool. Outside sales is fun. That might be interesting, right?" Not really knowing what I was doing at that point, being 19. And, he wanted to create a position for me and we tried to figure it out because he wanted to grow the outside sales. And he's like, "You're young. We don't have anybody young here. We'd love to do outside sales." And so, we tried to make that work. I was like, "Hey, this isn't working. This is not what I want to do." So I left. Luckily, I didn't get fired. My dad didn't fire me. I actually quit, which is even funnier. So, that being said, I started actually my own detailing company. Or I didn't start it. I bought into, I should say. Knew a guy, he was detailing cars, going house to house. And I said, "Hey, I like cars, huge car guy myself." And I said, "I'm 19. Maybe we can grow this, right?" I've always said I wanted to be my own boss. Never knew what that meant. Everybody says that, but you never know until you actually get into it. I just knew I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing, which was going to school, partying, getting into debt, getting into bad habits, and or just not like I just wanted to go make money. Like that's all I cared to do. I said, "Hey, making money is going to get me to do what I want to do in life, which is buy stupid things like cars or real estate and not
Yeah, those are not stupid things.
depending on the car."
Hey, that is a good point.
Exactly. But I knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't know how to get there. I just knew that I didn't want to have to stress about money, check to check, right? I wanted to be able to give the life my dad gave me. So I said, "Hey, a business venture that would be cool. There's no ceiling there. The only ceiling cap is me failing." And when you fail, you're actually not failing, you're learning. I don't believe in failure. I believe you're either winning or you're learning. So I said, "Hey, worst case scenario, I learn, I make a little bit of money. and whatever. It's another tally mark on what I tried to do list. Bought the guy out. I actually didn't want to stay in the house to house sector. I wanted to actually try to get into the big accounts. I go to one location and I get X amount of vehicles to wash versus I get one, you know, car in Atlanta and then I got to travel an hour to another car. That made no
Oh, I
sense.
see what you mean.
That made no sense, right? So I was like, I want to go to one location and wash 20 cars, like dealerships and stuff like that. So try the dealerships, try to work it all out. Got a great wrecker service. I actually had my whole trailer totaled in an accident, and lucky enough, the tow company was like, "Do you wash tow trucks?" And I was like, "Well, obviously I don't because my rig is on the back of your truck. I'm out of business right now." Huge godsend. They're like, "You don't need any of that. We have it all at our place." I was like, "Well, this is just one account. Like, I still need to get my chemicals." So I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." Try to figure everything else out. It actually turned out to be one of my biggest accounts ever. Um,
All from the car wreck?
all from one car wreck.
That's crazy. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. Huge godsend. Yeah. So
Wow.
from a car wreck, my whole business totaled. Literally, my business is on two wheels behind my car.
Crazy.
Totaled out, like pressure washer, water tank, all unusable. Can't buy, like $6,000 worth of stuff. So you got to wait for insurance. So I couldn't go do anything. I'm not going to go take a loan out. So blessed by all means by Mr. Jimmy Willard Record Service out of Buford, actually a real estate client of mine now.
Fantastic.
Stayed in contact. So he really supported me through all that. But then I was just like, look, I don't want to be hiring and firing these types of workers. I don't want to be in this type of environment. I wasn't good at it. I wasn't good at in the fact of having to just continually find people. People wanted to show up and get paid more than they worked, or didn't show up at all, and that was the very hard part. And I said, hey, I don't think this is for me. I knew that wasn't going to be the lifelong deal. So first, you know air quotes, failed business, but not, just I learned, hey, I learned that I don't want to work in this type of sector. So I was like, all right. And my brother was like, so, all right. So what are you going to do now? I'm like, I have no freaking clue. I have no clue. I'm 20. I have no clue. I've got fired from one job, left another job, and somewhat sold a business. And I was like, I have no clue. And he's like, I'm in real estate. I like it. You should come do an interview at this brokerage I'm at. I said, I have no clue what real estate is. I have no clue the first single bit of it. Nothing. So I'm like, well, why should I get it? And he was like, well, you can make a lot of money and you can have a lot of free time, or, determine what it is. And I said, okay, I like that control. So I said, okay, I'll go. And he's like, just go in, do an interview. You don't accept anything. Just ask them questions and answer their questions too and see what it's like. So I went in for my first interview, actually, Mark Spain Real Estate. And for anybody getting into real estate, again, all this is my story from, not college to, the first broker I started, all my story. It worked out. It might work for somebody. A section of this might work for somebody if they do it the way I did it. But Mark Spain Real Estate was a great company to start at if you had no clue as an agent of what you were doing. They gave me all the leads I needed. They gave me all the experience I needed. I got about, I would say, it might be over dramatic, 5 to 8 years of experience in a single span of 14 months. So I did like 50 some odd transactions in that 15-month span.
And that usually like averages for the normal person to be like 5 years worth of work. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, different agents will tell you different things. You got your high producers and then you got your part timers, but I would say average agent makes 40 grand a year, maybe does, I don't know, maybe max. I mean, this is 5 to 10.
Holy.
I would normally say like 6 deals a year. Yeah, I mean,
And you did that many in 14 months?
I did 15, 14 months. Not all on me though. They had a big powerhouse marketing team behind it to give us the leads, which
That's
is
still good, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, not all me. I had to go in and beat out every single agent at every single interview I went for every single seller because all I did was sell. I didn't help people buy at that time. So I was selling homes, not buying homes. So I could, at one time I had like 15 or 16 at one time, like having to manage. So that was fun at 21. Or no, 23. I don't even know. How old I am. So, at that point I said in the interview, I was like, holy cow, this is it. I kind of jumped around a little bit, but I said, holy cow, this is it. On the first interview, I said, you're telling me I have an endless, there's no ceiling on how much I can make. And there's no ceiling on how much free time I can possibly provide myself while making money. I was like, this isn't a 9 to 5. They're like, no, it's really 24-hour, but you're not working the whole 24 hours. And I was like, okay. I was like, and they kept telling me more benefits, like you can go invest and this and that. And I wow, I can be my own agent, go buy my own houses, save the money, learn, and set my kids up and set myself up and set my family up financially. I was like, okay, this is the path. This is the route that Parker Smith was supposed to go down to get where he wanted to get, which is go buy stupid cars and stuff like that. Cause I'm obsessed with cars. People ask you what's your why, right? I'm still actually finding mine. Cause every year is different. But at first
What's your favorite car, by the way? Sorry to cut you off. What type? What's your favorite brand? I should.
no, I have a very specific car. There's no brand I'm loyal to. I'm not loyal to anything, by the way. If you ask me like any of that, Pagani Huayra BC.
6-speed manual.
No, this is dual clutch automatic or
Oh,
paddles. This thing is, I mean,
I know which one you're talking about, but the older one was the
oh,
6-speed
the
manual.
Zondas.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, any
dude.
Pagani, I mean, Horatio Pagani, and we're getting sidetracked here. Work of art on wheels. It's a Picasso slash Mona Lisa slash any other fancy thing you can put on wheels and tie it to. That's what the Pagani is to me. It's
Pagani, man.
you know what I'm talking about.
I know
Any of the
exactly what you're
listeners
talking
look
about.
up Pagani, not Bugatti, but Pagani Huayra. That's my favorite car. The lines we had 3 in, and excuse the train. Holy cow! This is what I experience every day. By the way,
It's all good, dude.
yeah.
I love the side mirrors and the doors. That's my favorite part about the Pagani.
The doors are the coolest, but the side mirrors they mimic an eye, and it's just, I mean,
That's what it is. Supposed to
yeah,
make it nice.
mimicking an eye. But the whole cars are carbon fiber. We had 3 of them in at one time where I got to enjoy them, not drive them, but just enjoy looking at them. That's every day I'd walk out and look at them. All 3 of them side by side. It's like 10 million just
Where
sitting
was
there.
this?
Top secret location that I can't really speak about, but if you follow me, you'll see the cars. But we had 3 of them at one time in this warehouse. I just go and sit in the concrete floor and look at them. So that's my favorite car. But real estate gave you the freedom. It can give anybody the freedom. That's what I'm going to suggest to anybody is take a look at real estate. If you're like, hey, I'm not making enough money. Hey, I don't have enough time for my family, right? If you can kick your own self into gear, go into real estate. I mean, I can't speak enough about it. It, it is so freeing, right? So Mark Spain got my start there. I did that for 15 months and I said, hey, look, I'm getting too comfortable here. I'm making, decent money, not what I wanted to make, but for a 21-year-old making the money I was making, I said, this is okay. This is great, right? No complaining. But I was like, I'm nowhere what I want to be. But I'm only 20. Again, I don't even know how old I was. I was 23, 22 and 23. Oh my gosh. So that being said, I said, okay, I have, and Mark, any brokers that hands you leads, they're going to take their cut, right? So I wasn't making bukus. I was making pennies.
Oh, so it was like a bigger cut for them because they brought the lead.
Yep.
Versus you bring your own lead.
But you got to take that, bro.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I got agents that, I got into real estate and it took me XYZ long. I've only done this many transactions. Like, go to a broker, they're going to hand you the leads, right? That's where you're going to get your experience. That's the only thing that matters, your experience. People, like, if you put it on social media, people see that you're experienced. You actually someone asks you a couple questions, you have the knowledge to speak on that, in that way. And it's just getting in the doors, literally. Not figuratively, literally getting in someone's door and having them as a client. That's where you're going to make your most success. So I had enough track record to go out on my own, is what I'm getting at. I said, okay, I've done 50 deals. I know what I'm doing and I'm sick of making, X amount. I want to make Y, right? I want to make 20 times this. And I'm economically motivated. It's the only reason I'm in real estate. Well, not the only reason, but it comes down to, again, setting the family up while helping other families, right? Because these guys are making lots of money too, these sellers and these buyers, right? I'm helping buyers right now. They're walking into homes with 25, 30 grand instant equity. This guy just literally bought a house and then got an extra 30 grand, right? Not cash in his hand, but he can use that. Yeah. So I absolutely love doing that with buyers and sellers. It's like, hey, I just sold your house for $125,000 more than you bought it for. Or one guy, he owned it only for 7 months. Worst case scenario, he lost his job, but he made 25 grand in 7 months in appreciation in Gainesville. Love that. I get goosebumps right now telling you that. It was amazing because it was the worst case scenario. Hey, Parker, you helped me buy the house. Lost my job. I've only owned it for 7 months. We got to sell it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that, and then we get to kind of evaluating his house only after 7 months. I'm like, Terry, we're in a good position, actually. Let's test this price. We got full price. Full price. We bought it for 225 and we sold it for 249.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he made it like, again, worst case scenario. I lost my job. I just bought this house. This is his first house for his family. And then he made out on top. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are the moments I live for in my job, right? These people, it's amazing. Again, money is not everything, and it's not at all, but it helps a lot of people, right? So that guy, he just had a nice little cushion that he got to, go to his new job with, and his family. Now he's got this nice little cushion that anything goes wrong, he's got 20 grand just sitting for any moments that he never had before. And that was only because of real estate and that he bought a house.
In 7 months.
In 7 months.
That's
now,
really good.
It's unheard of.
7 months.
Literally unheard of. And we can talk about that later, of the great areas that are appreciating and the areas that are not. But that's what I love about working in real estate. And I said, hey, how can I go do this on my own and leave Mark Spain? I said, okay, I got 3 clients of my own that I brought to the table that I make more on at Mark Spain if I bring them than if he were to bring them. I said, okay, here's the calculation of if I stay at Mark Spain and they pay me my split of their split, or here's if I leave and keep it all. I said, I'm leaving. I said, this is where I jump out of the nest and I either fly or I die. I said, I got 3 deals to hold me over for X amount of months. I knew what it cost me a month to live. I said, okay, 6 months, I'm high and dry and I got to go find a real job. Got 6 months to figure this out. Fly or die. So I flew, or jumped out at least. Free falling for a little bit. Very lucky, or not very lucky, very blessed. I don't believe in luck. Very blessed to have the network and groups of friends I have. I had a buddy give me a first lead. He's like, hey man, I don't even think he knew that I went on my own. I think he just saw that my track record was decent. And he was like, hey man, he's a financial advisor. He said, hey, I got a client. They need to sell their house and move to Florida. I trust you, and they, we need to get every dollar they can out of this. I'm their financial advisor, and we know what we need to do to make this work. And if we can't make it work, we're not going to sell. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Thank you. And I was like, cool. First deal on my own. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Lord, for providing this. And luckily, I didn't screw it up. Still talk to him to this day, 3 years ago. They're in Florida. Great couple. So I said, all right, let's keep going. I got my first deal after 3, and it just kept going. But my tribute to success besides Jesus Christ is marketing with video, right? I mean, I'm almost giving away a secret here, but it's no secret if you have your eyes open and you're in social media and you're on the younger end. But for sales, at least for real estate, again, my story, not everybody else's. I can't tell you it's going to work for you either. Video marketing has played the most vital role in my success, was social media and videos. Back when Snapchat was actually cool.
Right.
Many years ago.
Before that update.
Yeah, before that. I don't even use it. My girlfriend Snapchats me and she gets pissed. I don't even look at it. I'm like, who uses this?
They ruined it with this one update.
Oh yeah, I mean,
terrible.
Well, really, Instagram to me buried them with their stories.
Yes.
But I was heavy in. I always had my thumb was on the record button, ready to go for anything. If you ask anybody that knew me about 5-7 years ago, like, oh man, he was always recording stuff. He's ready for the funny thing, and I had a little fun Snapchatting, and people would love to watch my Snapchats, but because I'd always literally be ready to go, and you would almost think like, that's fake. He set it up. Like literally, I was just always ready to film something for some reason. I don't know why I was always ready to film stuff.
That's awesome.
But that played a big role in, I just always captured everything I did. It wasn't like a vlog, none of that. I just always captured my day to day.
Like
whatever.
Organic.
Very organic. And this was before I got into real estate. It was just dumb stuff.
Oh, okay. So before you even got into real estate, that was just your charisma.
Dude,
as
like
a person.
7-8 years ago when Snapchat was cool. That's when I used Snapchat as my accidental always capturing things. And that's where I always just kind of recorded everything. It was only on Snapchat. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to save it to my camera. I was like, let's show everybody what I'm doing today because this is absolutely stupid. Or, we're wakeboarding behind a 4-wheeler in a pond with but boxers on, let's Snapchat that. That's stupid and funny. People might find it funny. So that just went right into Hey, I'm in real estate. Hey, I'm going to capture everything. Again, I'm not even thinking like, hey, let's be proactive and film me at a listing. Let's film me showing a house. Let's film me at a closing or take the pictures or whatever. So I just accidentally, just it's hardwired for me to capture things. So throughout real estate, my first stuff at Mark Spain, I had a lot of content because I did 50 deals in a year. So like every day I'm like, hey, I'm at this listing. And it was always listings. I wasn't helping people buy. So I'm like, hey, at this listing, hey, it's going for sale this day. It's going for this much. You're in every step of the process of real estate transaction, I basically just captured. Hey, got the listing. Hey, we're under contract. Hey, we got an inspection. Hey, we got appraisal. Hey, we closed. Right. So, obviously everybody started catching on to what I did. All my, current friends and followers, which was great because it took some time. But after a year, I started getting DMs and PMs in my Facebook and Instagram accounts. Hey, love the videos. You're crushing it. And then it started turning to, hey, I need to buy a house. Hey, I need to sell a house. Literally, my income comes through my DMs and PMs.
That's crazy, man. That you captured. They probably were like, "What is this guy on? 50 deals in your first year."
Not all me, but yes,
Not all you, but like
but I closed them.
from the outside perspective, that's crazy, man.
It was a lot at 23. It was a lot. I'd
Wow.
never owned a home. I was learning, but I could understand the process, and all I had to do is make sure everybody else, all my clients, knew understood the process, so they're educated and empowered, and we just walked through the deal together. Um, and so going from getting leads from somebody given to me and being dependent, again, I was like, I need to not be comfortable. I need to go figure this out. And if I figure it out and get uncomfortable, I might be more of a success. Because if you're comfortable, you're stagnant, you're not doing anything, you're not moving forward. So I was like, let's get uncomfortable, let's grow and see what happens. So again, tied with that, I accident again, I don't know how to explain it. It is a thing that happened where leads just started coming in. I wasn't, I, I did not call for sale by owners. I did not call expired leads, and I wasted $3,000. Um, and if he listens to this, I'm not blaming you. I'm not going to name names. It was just I didn't have my system set up to where I paid $3,000 for this. What was it? I basically tested it in Atlanta. I'm lost for words now. Artificial intelligence marketing. Basically, where it
Oh,
was
like behavioral?
all behavioral. Yep. So I threw 3 grand at this guy. Still love the guy. He's a huge marketer for e-commerce stuff. So he knows what he's doing. He's a huge brand guy. But I got like 180 leads off that 3 grand, and none of them were ready to buy. They were all just bad credit, and that's fine because not everybody's in the position to go. But it was like I'm paying money for people that are ready to go, and I was getting like D players that I'm gonna have to work with them for a year to get their credit built up and educate them. And again, that's fine, but that just wasn't what I was looking for at that time. So I was like, holy crap, I just spent 3 grand and the ROI was zilch, nothing. Basically just threw out of my window $3,000 on the highway and just kept going and didn't look back is what happened. So I was like, okay, this is nothing. I don't have time. I'm not good at um, sitting at a table for 10 hours calling strangers. Hate that. I'm not good at that. I'm good at building and establishing relationships face to
I
face.
want to bring that up later, by the way, but keep going.
Yeah. So I said, I know what I'm good at. I'm good at talking and I'm good with building rapport, and all that needs to be in person. I'm good on the phone, but I'm much better in person. So I was like, okay, again, didn't really take that and didn't realize what I was good at in regards to actually implementing it into something and saying, okay, all that to say, oh, that means I should go do video. It didn't click with that, but I just kept doing video. So, again, still figuring it out. I wasn't treating the business as a business. I really wasn't. I was just having fun and helping people out. And then I got really focused over the past year and a half of, okay, I kind of know what I need to do and how I need to do it. I know where I want to go, the amount I need to do, whatever it is. I got very strategic and started treating it as a business and still, growing in that aspect to this minute. But with that said, I said, oh my gosh, I'm getting stuff through social media. And that's a consistent thing. I'm not, and or it's a phone call, mainly because they saw me on social media. So I said, oh my gosh, I need to take full advantage of this. If I'm making X amount and putting no effort in, or just the minimal effort that I've been doing on a day-to-day basis, like you wake up, brush your teeth, that's the thing you do. I wake up and film my clients or my clients, experiences. I said, if I'm actually strategic with that, what could be, right? What if I'm, actually putting in effort and really being methodical about it, what's actually going to happen? So I actually got connected with a branding coach and I said, look, I'm making XYZ off of I'm making X amount of dollars in clients and getting that off of just doing this. And he's like, okay, well, how much do you think you're, missing out on if you maybe use this guy like me to teach you stuff and actually build a brand and being very strategic with social media videos? I said, I'm probably losing out on six figures. He's like, well, what does that mean to you? I said, I'm pissed. I said, I could do that right now. He's like, well, what do you need to do? I said, well, we need to keep talking. And so, that big thing, the big question was, he's like, how much do you think you're missing out on? I said, holy crap. I started doing the math. I was like, if I have X many clients and they're all transactions are worth this, here's my commission. I said, holy crap, I'm literally probably missing out on six figures, at least minimum
Just
$100,000.
from technique.
Just from being methodical and technique. Yeah, on social media only with no ad spend.
No ad spend.
I haven't spent a dollar since I wasted 3 grand.
Wow. Okay. See, that's
The
completely
only time I've ever paid money for a lead was that 3 grand scenario.
and never again.
Never again. I haven't paid for a lead once since I left Mark Spain. So again, my story, not yours, not anybody else's. Can it happen? Yes. You just got to figure it out. I know a lot of people that pay a lot of money to Zillow, pay a lot of money to Realtor to get their leads, but their leads are being fed to 3 other agents that are paying that same amount. So it's like still a war. Like, yeah, I gotta, beat Joanne out because Mr. Seller might use her. Right. For me, I have no competition. They come to me, I wake up, I hop out of the shower, I get a phone call. Hey, my buddy wants to buy my brother. Hey, my roommate needs to buy. That was just in a closing today. Like, I just have people feed me leads. And I think that's just from the strategery that I have done on social media of just letting people know what I do. But then I was like, and my branding coach was like, Parker, stop posting real estate stuff. They know who you are and what you do. I said, okay, where are we going with this? What do you mean? Like, stop posting real estate stuff? Like, what am I going to market and brand? He's like, what do you like to do? I said, well, I like real estate and a lot of aspects of that. He's like, okay, everybody knows that. What else? I said, Denny, you're freaking making me think of your staff. And he's like, what else do you like to do? Seriously. And this is a very just quick 30,000 view of that whole 3 month conversation and training. But it basically came down to who's your ideal client, right? Literally, who is it? Like, and I was like, I was thinking way too not out of the box. I was thinking way too standard. Like, well, he's a buyer seller that lives in Atlanta. And he's like, more specific. I'm like, what do you mean? That might narrow me too much. He's like, who? Who is it? What do they do? What do they like? Do they have a family? Are they divorced? Are they from here? Are they not from here? Do they like cars? Do they like the lake? Do they hate the lake? Do they hate cars? Right? What is it? Again, what do you like to do, Park? I said, oh, I like cars. I like the lake. I like real estate and I like food and beer. Right? I'm a pretty simple guy. He's like, cool. Now market to everybody that likes that. That's the gist. But when it came down, he's like, you need to get specific. You need to find like, what's his name? What's his age? And I said, okay, he's 25 to 40. His name's Eric. And he either just got divorced, got married, got a kid, or got a big boy job. And then he likes cars, or he likes good food or beer, or he likes real estate investing or investments in general, or I think I already said the lake. But yeah, or he likes the lake, right? I have a jet ski. I grew up on the lake. Many friends with boats. I try to go out there as much as I can. I absolutely love the water and enjoy it and destroy myself on the sea-doo. So I was like, okay, I got really specific here. His name's Eric. He's 25 to 40. He makes X amount. He's divorced or not. This XYZ, everything I just said. And he's like, boom, there you go. Now, doesn't he sound like a real person you think you knew? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he's not. But now you're going to talk to everybody in your videos as if it were him on the other end. Not Sally, that's the 25 to 40, or Eric, right? That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to a male. So
That's a good perspective to look at. That's who you're talking to in your videos. Okay. I
literally,
like that. I like that. Keep going.
whether I'm actually talking to him with my voice or I'm, doing a nice tagline that might pique his interest to check it out. But the whole goal is get that guy to watch your videos, and when he's ready, he's going to call you to buy or sell. And he's calling you because he's like, man, I like the lake too. Hey, I like good craft beer. I enjoy nice cars, right? And he's gonna call me because he wants to work with a guy like me because we like this. We have we have common interest. So I was like, man, I think I'm getting too specific. He's like, no, they will come. And the other ones that aren't like that, they'll still come. Their name's just not Eric, and they don't like cars and stuff, but they still saw your stuff. But you're gonna get very hyper specific, too much to where you think too much to where you're gonna narrow yourself too much to a market, but not at all. And it's literally worked. He's like, "Do you think?" I asked, I was like, "How? What's the ROI on this? Like, when am I going to see results?" He's like, "Give it a couple months. It's going to take you 2 months to learn this," and it literally did. It could not grasp the concept for some reason for the longest time. But what it came down to was at the end of the 3 months, I was like, "Holy crap, Denny! It's like freaking working!" Like literally, people are sliding more into my DMs and PMs than they were. People are commenting on my stuff. They're engaging, and I was like, "You're a magician. Like you've taught me the just to like I was already doing this again, but being methodical and being intent and having purpose with marketing. I wish I went to school for marketing first before real estate. I would have been a millionaire by now if I did marketing and understood how to, get in front of somebody and then go into real estate. I mean, my kids are going to go before my kids go to college. If college is still a thing, when and if I have kids, they're going into real estate first, uh, but probably marketing before that. Uh, and hopefully they like it. But and I say that to say I've learned more about the world and how people act, react, respond, whatever around money. Oh my gosh, I've learned more in real estate than I ever would on a college campus about real life. I know what to do and what not to do now. And that's why my kid will go into real estate first at 18 before he goes and does anything else. He's going to go get his license or her license, and they're going to go into real estate immediately because they're going to learn how the world works real quick, how people will either burn you or love you, what decisions to make or not to make financially. And that's those are the two broad spectrums. It gets very deep and dark from what I found. I literally see people's closets, literally, and then the skeletons inside them. One time there's actually a skeleton in it, and I was like, whoa. Oh, we have funny stories too. Oh my gosh, I have some funny listing stories. But real estate did a lot for me. It helped me see how the world actually works. It allowed me to give me financial freedom and freedom of my time, and allows me to help the coolest people ever, which are my clients and friends. And all my clients and friends win at life. They're all making big moves, and they're only going up in value in their own stock. They're only helping their families out in a good way. They're not making bad decisions. They're not getting into bad houses, or they're not, you know, they're just completely winning at life. And that's what is really fun for me. I mean, just last night, I got a client, his girlfriend wants to get into real estate. And I was chatting with her for like an hour before we even met at dinner. And then we met at dinner, and we were kept talking. She's wanted to do this for a year, and I was just telling her all the options she has as an agent, and then I was telling him as the possible buyer of all the options as what buying brings a buyer. What does that do for a person buying a house, right? So I was telling him all the options and how he can make money on the house and cash out refinance and go buy another house and keep the first house as a rental. And they're just you could see it in their eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, there actually is so much opportunity here we didn't know. So that's what's fun about this podcast is, dude, you can freaking do anything. That's what the greatest part about America is you can do anything if you set your mind to it.
That is a golden nugget right there.
Dude, you can be lazy like me and still make it. I'm lazy. I'm very lazy. But you find what you're good at and go with it. Who cares what everybody else says? I had so many people, even my team leads at certain brokerages, when I would leave, and they're like, "Are you sure you can make it on your own?" You always have a spot back here if you can. And I was just like, F that. I'm I'm running or I'm burning down, right? I'm either gonna make it, or I'm gonna make it, or I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna go down in a fiery, ball and not make it. But I was like, you best believe I'm trying really freaking hard, And again, I would say I didn't try that hard. And then my girlfriend and parents would be like, Parker, you work 24/7. You work so hard, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's real estate. Yeah. So that's the cool part, right? You're not slaving away, but you are. So it feels like I don't do much, but I know I do a lot. But I left and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna figure it out, right? And I'm gonna, it's gonna be success or it's gonna be a total learning lesson. Third one in a row. And again, it just worked out. And at the end of the day, it's just anybody can do it if you set your mind to it, right? That's what it came down to, me talking about being lazy. I did it. I passed a real estate exam. I sucked at school. Terrible at school. Literally terrible. I had a tutor my whole life. I'm getting a little personal here, but I mean, I struggled. It took me 5 times longer to learn something than it would probably would you, right? Simple stuff. Like, I mean, not simple stuff, but I sucked at learning. And I was like, oh my gosh. My brother's like, yeah, you gotta take a test. I'm like, oh, there's the roadblock. I failed each test one time. A lot of people fail and never continue. It's a very hard test. Failed the first test once, passed it the second time, failed the state test once, passed the second time.
What is it
And
about the test that makes it so hard?
it's the barrier, it's the barrier of entry. I mean, you got so when you're taking the real estate test, you're not just learning a real estate agent's job. You're learning every single person's job in a real estate transaction, from the real estate agent to the broker to the lender to the appraiser to the inspection to taxes to everything you don't need to know. Right? It's great to have an understanding. You need to know 10% of the test. So you're not just learning, oh, what does it be to real estate agent? You're learning something you'll never do. How to appraise a house, how to be a lender, right? That's like, going to school for mechanical engineering and then you're going to go learn, rowing, right? So random and off topic. And then you're going to, go learn. And I mean, it's just you're learning 7 jobs to do one job.
That's crazy. So
Terrible example, but
does every person in, like, if you want to be an appraiser, if you want to be a lender, do they all take the same test, or is it just a real estate agent?
they have different tests. They have different parameters and all that. But as a real estate agent, you learn everybody's job.
So here's the thing, right? So I've spoken to a lot of people that do real estate. I have a really good friend. He does wholesale real estate, and now he's getting into fix and flips. Well, actually, he's been in fix and flips, but he just went into another one. Give the guy credit, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
have you ever dealt? Because you talked about earlier how you don't like doing the cold call thing. So you were never like attracted to wholesale real estate.
I actually almost got into it. I saw the appeal. A commercial real estate agent buddy of mine, we were both looking at it together. And it was, again, I personally don't believe in multitasking, hence why I am hiring right now. Um, and it was just too much of multitasking. It's like, okay, I'm starting a business right now. And then I'm like, let's go start a wholesale business. How stupid is that? For me, it was dumb. We realized it. We're like, this is great. This is so cool. We can make X amount of money. And then we're both like, we're both still starting our careers. Like, why are we starting something else? Right.
Right.
Someone maybe could do that. Me, no capacity. So, yeah, I mean, it was like full cold calling. I mean, wholesaling, you might understand it from everybody. It's like you're straight up
Selling
dry.
contracts.
You're driving for dollars. You're looking for crap homes. You're calling strangers to see if they want to sell it. And you're trying to get the best deal. And that's just, I mean, you're calling 1,000 people to get one deal. So, worst case scenario, but that's wholesaling to me. And that's what I saw. You can go do print marketing, you go do, cold calls, you can go drive for dollars. And I mean, it was just, okay, I'm already doing a lot over here. I can't have 2 full-time 60-hour a week jobs. So, but that's the cool part though. There's so many ways besides being a real estate agent to make money in real estate without even having a license. That's the cool part.
So the real estate agent part is where the commission comes in, and that's where you would say that it's more worth it, because with the cold calling, I mean, you could call 20 people, you could all 20 of them could be a deal. But like you said, it's more than likely like calling lot of people just to get a couple deals, and then if they go through and then you're selling the contracts, you're only making like 5 to 15, whatever the the number is. And more than likely like a higher value home, they're not going to go to like someone like you that's more, mainly someone in a weird position where someone died and they got a house on that, or they got to sell quick. It's those weird areas, because if
Yeah.
someone's trying to really sell and buy, they go to someone like you.
They go to an agent.
Yeah, so is that what caused you to be attracted to being a real estate agent, or were you already kind of involved in real estate or looking to be a real estate agent, and then the wholesale thing came in, but you were just like, I'm gonna focus on what I got now?
I was already an agent when the wholesale deal came up.
Oh, so you're already an agent.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was a year deep in it. I actually just left Mark Spain and was still kind of like getting my own feet wet. And they're like, wholesale. I'm like, I know I don't want to quit being an agent, but side income of wholesale would be cool. I see a couple deals, and if they don't want to sell through wholesale, I can list their house. So I was like, that might be a cool idea. And I was like, way too much work, way too much work. So I just I just put that to the side. That was something I know what I'm good at, and now I know what I'm not good at. And I was like, this is something I'll have to hire a bunch of people to do, and I would manage them. I would not be the one picking up the phones. I would hire ISAs the whole time. So again, lots of money to be spent with not a lot of understanding of the ROI at that point when I was so young. So I was just said, screw it. We'll just stick with real estate and go from there and make the money and invest it some other way.
So when it comes to being a real estate agent, right? Would you say it's more about trying to get your client the highest value for their property, or do you focus more on keeping the door rolling, getting multiple properties going? Like what I'm trying to say is, if you had 3 properties, right? And you could get them all gone for a lower price and move on to the next set, would you do that, or are you the type that likes to hold down longer to get more value out of each property?
If I'm selling it for my seller,
Yeah.
well, what I do, we sit down, we go over price. I'm a very strategic and scenario based agent. I've done many deals, done over 100. So I know what I can see, right? Which is, I learn something new every freaking day. I can't say I've seen it all because every time I say that, I see something new. I'm like, oh my gosh, add that to the scenario list. But I've seen enough to where I can guide somebody to answer the question in a long form. No, I will not sell just to sell. That is not doing your client any justice, and not serving them right at all. Unless they want to sell and it's a nasty deal, like a divorce or whatever, and they're just like, screw it. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's your house. But at the end of the day, no, we sit down and go over and say, hey, look, here's what happens if we, let's just say the house needs to sell and we'll sell at 200,000. I'll say, and they'll tell me their goal. Like, hey, I want to make 150,000 after paying off you, the agents, in my mortgage, whatever. I want to walk away with X amount of dollars. And I say, okay, let's work backwards to see how we need to get there. And I go, hey, if we list, the house is going to sell for 200, you can list for 195 and get many offers and maybe bid it up and get over 200, or you can list at market value and list at 200, or you can test the market and list a little bit above at 210, 220 and see what happens, right? And it all comes down to what they want to do. And I'll say, look, if you list overpriced, this is what could happen. If you list at price, this is what could happen. If you list undervalued, this is what could happen. What do you want? Right. And then again, I want them to make the decision. I want them to feel empowered. I want them to know what's going on so they can make the best decision for them and their family. And at the end of the day, they choose, but I'll always guide them. I'll say, hey, look, we overlisted. We sat for 30 days. Average days on market here is 35 days. We haven't gotten any showings or offers. We need to go down to market value or under market value to get your house sold because you said you needed to move in 60 days. Each contract takes 30 days. We're at day 35. We should have a contract right now where we're failing your objective. So I always ask them, when do you need to sell? Some are like, I'm desperate or I'm not desperate. I don't care. We just get their whole expectation list and then we'll go and price accordingly for their expectations. That's really what it comes down to, is their expectations. Hey, I expect to make this much or I expect to sell this time. So I just go, okay, what's more? And we'll figure out what the most important is and we'll go from there. So obviously, I always try to get homes sold immediately, but not to just sell them under price. It's to sell them for the value my seller wants to sell it for immediately. So, whether that's being hyper strategic with marketing, if I'm doing extra stuff, or if I'm holding open houses, or if I just know the area and I know it's going to sell quick, I won't do extra stuff because I know it's just going to do its thing. So, it's always churn and burn it. try to get them out because that's what's doing your client most justice is, hey, I found your house and I found your dream house in the first house we saw. That's a freaking great deal. Good job, Parker. You found the buyer a house on the first house he looked at, right? Or good job, Parker. You sold the house in 1 hour for 5 grand over, right? Obviously, they're gonna love that. But I'm not like, hey, let's just screw this guy. And, I know he can sell it 200, but it could sell quicker at 180. So I want to sell him on that. I never steer. I never steer. I just guide. I say, here's the smorgasbord of options and scenarios and bad and good that can happen. You pick your path and I will guide you down that path because I know what paths we have. So that's my long answer.
See, I really like that, man. I really like your energy. You have a very transparent and like wholehearted energy. Because I've spoken to a lot of people, off the air, and I have spoken to some people who are like, "Hey, man, like at the end of the day, commission's commission. That they don't really care." And I like the fact that you're not into that because I've also been around people who are into the whole buying mode, and they were dealing with certain agents that were just so pressure on them to just take deals. And I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling her like, hey, like, I know that you think this is your dream house and whatnot, but do you? Because like, do you think this is your dream house, or are you being kind of sold on the illusion that this is your dream house so that this person can pump and dump and move on to the? Because I was telling her like, you do know how these people make money, right? Like it's commission. It doesn't really matter what happens to you, but you're the one taking a loan from the bank. Like this is a big decision. And it wasn't until I kind of painted that picture for her that she kind of slowed down and she was like, you're kind of right. I don't really know how I feel about this property. And I just like that you're really transparent, man. Like you really show, well, I've never seen you do business, but just from talking with you for the brief time that we've been talking, I can tell that you're really transparent with your customers and that's why you've been successful. So, what are some situations that you've seen or encountered in your real estate experience that helped you ultimately grow and continue to go down your path of transparency? Have there ever been any situations where, you were kind of like, well, I don't really want to do it that way. I know that's how, real estate goes, but I want to do it my own way and you succeeded.
Well, I think it's always kind of been how I've operated in life, kind of how I started this podcast is I didn't want to go and do what everybody else did, like the college deal or, I had my own path. I wasn't going to follow everybody else. I beat the, whatever the saying is, I'm going to beat to my own drum, right? I've always kind of been that way, stubborn, hard headed. But at the end of the day, I treat people how I want to be treated with fairness and full transparency. But the transparency, you call it transparency. I just call it you know, I'm just, yeah, yeah, it's transparent. I'm just like, look, here's how the crap can hit the fan, and here's how we can be successful. I would want to know if I'm about to go down the wrong road and completely destroy myself. I want someone to tell me that. I don't want someone to be like, yeah, man, go down that road. I want to make 20 grand on that guy if you go down that road. I rather lose, I rather lose 20 grand than my reputation. I'd rather lose $1 million, $1 billion, put a B on it, than my reputation and my name. That's all you have. Money comes and goes. I'm not going to screw somebody. Like, I'll beat your face in if I know someone's trying to purposely
N-
screw somebody.
Not screw somebody, but you mentioned how, like, when you got into real estate, it taught you a lot about the world, the sociology, about how people interact. Because from my experience, I completely understand what you're saying, man. It's yeah, this coffee's great, podcast is great, everything's good. And once the money touches the table, you see the people, you see who you're really working with, whether good, bad, ugly, burn, or maybe they, overdo the way you thought they were, whatever it is. What kind of situations taught you that?
Just the difficult parts in a transaction where emotion and money are involved. I will never name names, but and I want to be light on this, but just from my experience, uh, when big amounts of money are involved plus emotion, it equals a crap show. It's bad. Dude, switch flipped. Like black to white. Like total polar opposite personality. Had that happen a couple times. And it's on minuscule things. And if you're if you have experience and you kind of understand, you know, how people work, and you understand that people get crazy with money, you take a step back and go, okay, this guy's actually not yelling at me. He's pissed because the builder he's working with is not going to close on the house he promised to close on time when that buyer is actually selling his house in Atlanta and now he's going to be homeless for a month. And that client is pissed over the smallest little thing that I would never expect a single person ever to be pissed about. And I'm talking livid. And I'm like, okay, this is a very minor issue that he is literally blowing up about. What's going on here? And I talked to him after he cooled down. I said, what's going on? It's not that the attorney won't come to your house. What's actually going on? Parker, this builder's screwing me over. He's delaying the closing day in my moving day a month. I had to go live with my mother for a whole month in another state that I don't know. And I have to go pay for extra storage. And I'm just not having it. I'm not having it. Literally, I will not. I just anything is going to set him off, right? And you got to be able to take a step back and not blow up with the guy. You got to take a step back and be that right, good angel, not the devil. You know, poking and pronging him and making it worse. You got to go, hey, let's relax here. What's going on, man? Like, just level with them. They're your friend. They're your client. You got to listen. I mean, at the end of the day, all my clients, I feel like they're family, but it gets gnarly out there, bro. It's insane.
Man, that's the biggest. Well, for the average person, that's the biggest purchase
Exactly.
they will make in their whole life, second to a car. Well,
that and or
house, car. What else? Well, I guess if you're buying anything bigger than a house and car,
I'd say the two biggest decisions are buying a house and marrying someone. So,
Well, yeah,
but
yeah.
purchases, I'd say house that's the biggest expense or
Right.
biggest thing anybody has. So,
Right.
he's selling, he's got emotion tied up with being there for 30 years and he's moving to a different state and the builder, all that is just a whirlwind of emotion. So, many instances like that where just like, okay, let's not make it worse. Let's ask this client and level with them on a real personal level. And just be like, hey, let's talk through this. What's going on? How can I help? Right? Besides what else I've done. Like, can I help on a personal level? Can I call somebody for you? Can I lift something for you? Right? What else can I do that I haven't done that will make you better? And sometimes there's just nothing. It's just time, right? But and at the end of the day, real estate's cutthroat. If you're dropping balls, you're gonna be cut. If you're pissing people off, you're gonna be cut. If you're not doing what you say you're gonna do, your word, I'm cutting you definitely.
That's all
That's
you have in this world, man. Sorry to cut you off, but that's something I was
that's
taught
it.
really early on in this world. People can't trust your word. You don't have anything.
If you don't do what you say you're gonna do, and I learned that the hard way too with my dad. I mean, he definitely freaking ingrained that in me. But it's like, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. And that goes for whatever, whether I'm hiring you or you're hiring me or whatever, especially if I'm paying you, brother. If I'm paying you, if I'm getting paid, you best believe I will do everything that I said I was going to do. I'm going to show up early. I want to stay late. I want to put the work in because guess what? I want to prove my value to you and that you need to continue to be friends with me or continue to refer me out or whatever, continue to put up with my BS that I jab your ear off because I can't stop talking, right? If I'm just, I mean, it comes down to as simple as, yeah, I'll meet you at dinner at 6 o'clock, you and your buddies. You're consistently late, dude. That tells me so much about you. That's going to tell me I probably don't want to work with this guy later because he's not dependable. Can't even show up, right? And that just comes down to, again, being a good agent, doing what you say you're going to do, and literally just freaking showing up. That's the hardest part in life, I would say, is literally just showing up. But definitely with agency, like show up in the office on Monday, grind it out, do what you need to just show up, right? So at the end of the day, your reputation is everything, your name's everything, your word's everything. If you lose one of those, you're a goner in this world because news gets around quick. So it's just you gotta be wise with it, and you really just need to again do as you say. you'll lose it real quick if you don't. And that's the hard part with the younger age. I think I'm only 26, but I hung out with the older crowd or the older crowd my whole life. So I feel like I'm the youngest of four. So I feel like I have a year or two on my own life. But at the end of the day, you can't be prideful. You can't be cocky. And you need to actually lower yourself below everybody that you're trying to learn from. Like, don't interrupt. Don't act like you know what you're talking about. Learn. Just be a fly in the wall, be a sponge, and just shut up and learn. Right? That's one thing I'm still learning is shutting up. Because when you talk less, you learn more.
It took me a minute to realize that, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Never. You want to be the dumbest guy in the room,
Yeah,
or at least act like it. Because guess what? You'll figure out who the dumbest guy is in the room, and you also figure out who the smartest guy is in the room, and you don't know who to make friends with.
exactly. Yeah, man. Here's the thing about this whole thing, right? Is the reason I do this podcast, man, is at one point in time, I felt alone. I felt like, it was happening for everybody else but me. And, I felt like I was, down. And there's a lot of other personal issues that were going along with that. But I started listening to many other podcasts and, just hearing stories from other people and seeing that I could relate to a lot of situations other people were going through. And that's what inspired me to do this. Because same here, man. I have a problem with just shutting up sometimes and listening, and I've gotten a lot better at it through doing this. But my number one thing is I want to reach the person, even if we touch one person, right? It's all worth it. So for someone listening right now, man, whether they want to get involved in real estate or they're a model or they do whatever it is, right? What would you say for a person right now who feels stuck, who feels, kind of how you felt after, you left Mark Spain, you didn't know what you were going to do, but you jumped. You jumped, man. And you said, I'm going to learn how to fly or I'm going to die trying because I'm not going to lose. I'm going to learn. What would you say to that person right
I would say what I told my friend that we just closed the house on 45 minutes ago before I got here is because I've been there, dude. Kind of there now. Like, I'm alone. You know, what I have learned and studied and listened is typical entrepreneurs will feel like that a lot. I'm alone. I'm not doing enough. People are making it, and I'm not. I'm still freaking there, bro. I've been there ever since high school. And you know what? I'm going to get to the answer. But you know what I think our big problem is as a society, as why we are so depressed in regards to when it focuses on the entrepreneurial side of, man, I'm not making it. I'm failing or I'm not doing good enough. It's you're comparing yourself to a guy that's on page 100 on social media, and you're on page. you- You're in the freaking intro. You haven't even opened the book. You haven't even pulled it off the bookshelf yet, and you're trying to compare the guy that's on page 100. And then you're going to get yourself down and get yourself depressed and why, and you're going to see all of his cars or whatever you think is success or whoever you're trying to be like. Whether they read 100 books a year or they travel the world or they make X amount or they really good at cooking. Yeah, you're comparing yourself to a freaking pro. Get there. Go do your 99 pages. Read those, right? But how are you going to get to where that guy went? He didn't do it on his own or where she went, right? My answer to you is network. Network, network, network. Networking, talking to other people, underrated. So underrated, brother. And by what I mean by that is you could literally just have the right conversation with the right person and set yourself up however you want to set yourself up financially, set yourself up with better relationships, whatever, right? But your network is your net worth. And not just your net worth, it's your go-to buddy system. It's your go-to private coach. It's your go-to, hey, I'm about to bawl my eyes out because I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. I am overwhelmed. I mean, dude, I've done that. Literally sat at that freaking table over behind this wall. And I'm like, what am I doing? This year. I'll be very upfront with you on that. I called my dad. I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Like, I was just overwhelmed. Literally, I was like, this is a lot. This is a freaking lot, right? And it's always going to be like that. Because guess what? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, bro. Everybody would be doing it. You still have competition. You still got other badasses out there that are just like you and me, right? That fires me up. I'm like, oh, heck no, Jimmy's not going to do it better than I am, you know? But that's my personality. But you gotta find the people that are doing what you want to do. Maybe they're not doing exactly what you want to do, but maybe they're a good trusted source with some good knowledge and you trust them and they're older. Only older people. And they had to do what you're trying to do. They can't just say they did it. That's the hard part. I will not listen to somebody if they haven't done it. Oh, yeah, man. You know, the stock market's great, bro. You know, go look at Delta or Disney. I'm like, how many shares do you own in Delta and Disney, bro? None. And I'm like, have a great day, bro. You know, or financial advice, you know?
I know exactly what you're talking
I'm
about.
like,
There's all these gurus out here.
just shoot me in the face. I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
God.
So for me to answer your question, like, how do you make it through there? How do you be a success, right? Find your mentors. I have a handful of them in all different aspects of my business. Find your mentors that have done it. They have to have done it. How can they tell you how to do it if they've never done it?
Right.
So find your network that has done what you want to do, and they're the most successful ones at it. Try to find the ones that are most successful, right? Don't try to find the B player. Try to find the A player and that wants to put up with you. But here's the thing, though. They're not going to want to put up with you. Not everyone's like, I got time to take a phone call from Parker Smith that's going to chew my ear off for an hour, right? I'm over here doing my thing. Try to find the guys that are like that, because guess what? They have no time because they're crushing it. And then bother the hell out of them until they answer your phone call. Persistency is the key. Consistent and persistent. Got to do those two. And that's what I found. I've never found it's what I know. It's who I know. Again, you can have the right conversation at the right time with the right person and your whole life changes.
That's facts. That is a fact. Right
I mean, there's a
there.
fax machine over there. Yeah, no. So, no, but seriously though, I mean, in all seriousness, as cool as it sounds, your network is your net worth. Because that's freaking true. I am only where I am at right now. And this is on God. I'm only where I'm at right now, one, because of him, and two, because of who I know. I never went to college. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I would actually label myself as the dumbest guy in the room. I do not have a big vocabulary. I'm not college educated. I know what I'm good at, and I stick with it, and I try to find people that know more than me so I can learn from them. That's the only key I would say to success, is finding people that have done it and follow them and ask them as many questions as possible. Questions. The biggest pet peeve of mine is someone acting like they know what they're talking about when I know they don't. I know you're not an agent, so stop telling me what you think you know about real estate. What's more appealing is you going, instead of stating it as fact, is like stating it as a question. I mean, yeah, tell me all your real estate knowledge. That's fine, brother. That's fine. Just don't tell me it's a fact. Don't state it and talk about it like it's a fact. And that's the hard part with the younger groups, is they're stating all these facts.
Everyone's quoting someone else.
There's no facts. Everybody's great. Yes. Everybody's quoting someone else. I heard it from so-and-so. Well, guess what? It's the game of telephone, and half of it's probably true. And it's probably not facts. Oh, I saw it from CNN. Yeah, well, well,
Good luck with that.
let's go ahead and read 20 more articles and figure it out if it's true. And that goes for any news channel. But at the end of the day, shut up and listen. Don't open your mouth. Be a fly in the wall. Be a sponge, and do not act like a know-it-all. You will turn people off that could help you so quickly. You'll turn me off. I can tell you that. And I'd hate to, and if I were in that position, I'd hate to know, man, if I just shut up, that guy probably would have helped me. Not everybody's here to help anybody. You got to have a relationship with that guy. You got or gal. You got to recreate the rapport with that person that wants to help you. You're not just going to help some annoying 26-year-old that acts like he knows what he's talking about. Maybe they might. It might be that personality be like, okay, we need to set this person straight. And I really, really, really want to help this person. I see where his flaws are, her flaws are, and one of those flaws is he needs to shut up. And I want to help that guy. Maybe that's the help you'll get. Or maybe it's, hey, you'll get $1 million idea, or they'll help you think through something you didn't know how to think through before. But long story short, network, you got to find someone that's doing it better than you and someone that's older than you. Now, if they've done it and they're a little younger, well, if they've done it, that's the key goal is have they done it? And just ask questions. Like they said in school, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I tell every single client that. I expect no one to know what they're doing. I expect them to ask questions, though. If you don't ask questions, that's really bad.
Well, how are you supposed to get anywhere if you're not asking questions?
That's where I'm confused. People don't ask enough questions these days because they think they might look stupid. And then, even if they don't even have that mindset, and they actually do have a mindset of, I will go ask questions, but actually implementing the idea or the business or the whatever, right? Creating your t-shirt line or being a videographer that's independent or a podcaster, dude, when like, just go after it. Like, fail. You know, I'm actually not saying fail. You know, I'm not saying fail. We've talked about this. You're learning. Who cares what people think if you're going to go out there and do it? People are going to make fun of you. Oh, you're doing a podcast. You're an idiot. I literally had a buddy. Are you sure you really want to go into real estate? You could work for me and make 50 grand a year. I'm like, dude, you know, I just got my real estate license. You know, I just got it. You know, I'm trying to build it up.
That's kind of disrespectful.
Well, that's on another topic. But yeah, at the end of the day, don't let others affect you. I know too many people that are afraid of failure. I'll go walk right outside in that street with my pants down. That's what I think of failure. I think of it as nothing. I think of it as winning. Hey, I learned not to go out there and walk around naked. I have my boxers on, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like as stupid as an example that is, but like, don't be afraid to fail. Ask questions and just try. I had no clue what I was doing in real estate, bro. I had nothing going for me when I sold my washing business. And my brother said, go try real estate. I had nothing. You know what I did, though?
Give it 100%.
And I tried.
Yeah.
I asked questions. I sure fell on my face. That time I call it failing forward. You fail forward, just go forward. You're going backwards, you're screwed. Face plant forwards. Don't face plant backwards.
Fail forward.
Fail forward. Seriously, dude. I can't tell you how many times I've screwed up in real estate.
I like that.
Countless times I have screwed up. But guess what? I didn't give up. I failed. I learned, but I didn't let that stop me. So I'll shut up on that, but I know way too many people that won't even, that can be rock stars, total freaking rock stars. Do whatever they want in life.
They would just shut up and
Not shut up, but these people are too afraid of failing.
too afraid of failing.
They're too afraid of what their parents or girlfriend or friends will think if they fail.
Well, see, you brought up a really good point about how people who are crushing it, they don't got time, man. Like, you got to wedge yourself in there. Like, you got to really, really, like, I had this one guy, man. I was trying to take him out to lunch like 3, 4 different times. And when I finally got him out there, he was surprised I was even trying. And you know what? To be honest with you, nothing later came out of it, but it was a really good conversation, built the connection. And, you know, it was one of those things where I was like, you know, I'm glad that I kept pushing that guy because now we got that relationship. I haven't used it, but it's there. And he saw that I was persistent. So I know exactly what you mean, man. If someone's killing it, they don't got time to be on the phone with Charbel or Parker for an hour. I could be making money or I could be enjoying time off because I'm killing it all day.
And that's what it comes down to, you know, at the end of the day, you go to the gym. Why do you go to the gym? To build muscle. Why? To maybe lift heavy weights or to feel better about yourself. Well, guess what you're doing when you did that? You're working your muscle out. What muscle? Your confidence muscle. your persistence muscle, your consistency muscle. Because all that's going to do is make it easier the next time. Now you're going to go talk to a guy that blows you off 10 times. And guess what? It's going to be easier for you. But if I were to say, hey, it's going to take you 5 times to get the first guy, and it's going to take you 10 times to get the second guy, you're going to like, what the heck? I thought it was going to get easier. It does. But it also gets harder. Again, now he's got to call that guy 10 times. Now it's going to build more muscle. And it's going to feel so much better because it took you 10 more calls than 5 calls to get it. And guess what? After 10 calls, successful lunch, like you just said, I got nothing from it, but you did. You built that muscle to go and talk to the right guy that will eventually get you something. He'll hire you. He'll recommend you. He'll give you a job. But you never would have gotten to level 10 if you didn't freaking start on level 1 and blew that guy up for 5 times. And he said he was surprised that you even kept going.
He was, yeah.
I have a client right now I followed up with for 3 freaking years, bro. Since I got into the business. I'm still following up with him on buying and selling. Selling a house and buying a house. I'm still following up with that guy. I got a client right now. I just got her on offer in 1 hour. Followed up with her for a year and a half.
In an hour?
In an hour.
Of it being on the market.
On market 1 hour. Got $5,000 over asking, $355,000 in a golf community. But I followed up with her after listing her house a year and a half ago. And she's like, I don't want to sell it right now. I'm like, that's cool. Well, wait. I followed up with her for a year and a half. Consistency pays off. I can't tell you how long it's going to take, but it will pay off eventually. And that's what's key for real estate. It's like, dude, you got to follow up, bro. If you're not following up, you're losing money. I got clients I still need to follow up with from 2 years ago. I can still make money off of and help and serve. People don't follow up. People don't try. They think, oh, they don't want to hear from me. Oh, I'm annoying him.
So what?
So
Right?
what?
Annoy him.
Until you get a no,
Yeah.
it's possibly yes. Until you get a no, it's possibly yes. You'll never know until you know. You'll never know until you get a no.
Yeah, and then you got Grant Cardone. Even a no is a yes because they're
That's
potentially
facts.
interested. I had never heard that until I saw that video with him. It's a good concept. It is where it's like even a no is potential interested. Not interested is interested because you're not interested. I was like, he's kind of right. He's got a point here. Like not interested is still a level of interest.
And what ties into that is being persistent.
Yeah.
If you give up and are afraid of this guy saying, piss off, you're annoying me, yeah, you're not going to get him. His no is a hard no. Because guess what? You just took a no as a no. You didn't take a no as a maybe. You didn't take a no as, hey, I need to be a little bit more consistent. Or not consistent, but I might need to tailor something to him to let him see what I need him to see that he's not seen. To where it is yes. That's where I think that the persistent comes down. Again, I was persistent for a year and a half. I finally got a listing. $155,000. That does a lot. That was a huge money move. It took me a year and a half.
You say you got what?
That client after a year and a half, it took me a year and a half to
Yeah,
get
the
her.
golf community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that was a big money move.
Yeah.
And if I didn't follow up, I would never have made that money.
Isn't that crazy?
Or I would never have made that connection if I didn't. Again, for me, it's clients. For someone else, it might be I never would have gotten introduced to the lead guitarist that I've been wanting to get a hold of to play in the band. Whatever.
Isn't it crazy? Like after you close this deal, right? Because I'm not like personally, I'm not like a if or when or hope. It already happened, and we're just unfolding the path. When you close that deal, you're just gonna be thinking back to like that phone call that didn't work right before the one that did. You're like, what if I went and grabbed lunch, forgot about it, and didn't call?
Yeah. What if I wrote that person off and said, screw you for not,
Right?
you made me. Here's the reality of that listing. I spent a lot of time and money, and then they didn't sell. I could have been like, screw this. No. You got to say, these guys are eventually going to sell. Let's just keep tabs. Right? I could have just been like, F this on the phone call after they're like, yeah, we don't want to sell. I know you paid $150 for photos and you had to get a custom sign and you spent 5 hours and you actually put the house on the market and that cost you money. You spent like $2,000, I know. And well, we just want to wait. One personality is going to screw themselves and the other personality is going to benefit themselves. Meaning your personality. You're either going to be like, I'm done, or okay, I'll call you in a year. Okay, I'll call in a year and a half. That's what I did, and boom, 1 hour in market. Year and a half later, I made my money. I succeeded at what I was trying to do, and that I thought I failed at.
Love it, man.
Dude, you just gotta follow up. You gotta be consistent. You gotta ask questions. You gotta network. You gotta talk to the people that are doing it. No matter your field, no matter what you're trying to do, you're trying to freaking do whatever.
Anything, right?
Anything.
It's just there's so much possibility, man. That's what I love about the world. There's so many things that can and can't happen.
America.
Yeah, right. Thank God
We are very lucky.
yeah, thank God we
You
got
can't do
freedom,
this in
you
other
know?
places, bro. You can't do what we're talking about.
It's kind of sad, right?
It's very sad. It's very sad. That's why I absolutely love this country.
Yeah, people don't appreciate the freedom. I mean, some people don't think we're free. Some people, I'm personally not a political person. I don't know anything, that's why I never get into it. But I do know that, I'm originally from Lebanon, right? So my family's Middle
Yeah.
Eastern, and my parents appreciate the First Amendment because back home,
Boom.
you just get pulled out the room. What happened to Parker? We don't know. Never saw him again. So, yeah,
Man.
definitely appreciate being able to speak my mind. Hey, podcast, you can say whatever you want.
And you can make money on this podcast.
You know what? Yeah, man.
And you're not limited to how much money you make on this podcast.
And you're not limited to how many people you can reach. That's
And
the
you're not,
beauty.
yeah, like you just said, you're not limited to what you can say.
Yeah, best part.
That's the coolest part, man.
Hey, man, believe it or not, we're almost at an hour and 20. Is there any message you want to leave the people with today that's specific to you?
Um, at the end of the day, I'm gonna kind of reiterate what I've kind of said this whole time, but don't be afraid to fail. Be okay with being uncomfortable. I think that's the biggest key. Be okay with being uncomfortable. I think I'm gonna leave it with that. Be okay with being uncomfortable in all aspects of bugging a guy or gal that you want to meet that you think you could learn from. Calling a client that you think is gonna, chew you out. Um, Telling someone bad news, right? And and be okay with just not being where you want to be. That's something for me too. Be okay with not being where you want to be yet.
That one touches home for me, man. I felt like I needed to hear that one. Wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got your own story and you got your own path that God's laid out for you. And you can try to control it. Someone say it's destiny, someone say it's a plan, whatever you believe in, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you're gonna do you and be happy with it. But the other part is if you're not happy with it, you can change it to a certain extent if you live in America. I'm sick of people saying they can't make money in America in 2020. I know guys making $500,000 a year off their laptop at their mom's house called YouTube.
University.
You can, yes.
Best degree ever.
They don't teach you how to cook great steaks though. So last night. But at the end of the day, man, don't be afraid to fail. Ask great questions. Don't be the smartest guy in the room, and just be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Boom.
I love it, man. Well,
Mic
hey,
drop.
just so people can stay up to speed with you before we, sign off, if you just want to shout out any Instagram pages, Facebook, just anywhere that people can keep in touch with you.
Yep. So social media, YouTube is Parker Smith Real Estate with my ugly mug on it. Everything is the same profile picture essentially with my ugly mug on it. YouTube is Parker Smith Real Estate. Instagram is Parker Smith Realtor, just as is. And then Facebook is Parker Smith. Don't look at my Facebook business page. It has nothing on it. Yeah, I mean, I post a lot of stuff every single day. Love chatting and meeting new people. So if you have any questions about being an agent or buying or selling, just comment or whatever. I'll grab a call with you or coffee with you and educate on being an agent or whatever. So I'm here to help. Can't comment or can't say I'll comment immediately back, but I'm here to help anybody, whether they're wanting to, not even real estate related. Just if you got any questions, just let me know. I'm here to help. I'm here to network too. That's a big thing for me too. If you need help and I know somebody, I'll try to connect you. Yep. Huge networker. So Yeah, man.
Hey, man, just like every other time, my name's Charbel Milan. Today we got,
Parker Smith with Parker Smith Real Estate.
and this has been a time shared. Thank you so much.